Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you a really fun poison-based glaive build. And I'm basically making this to show off how it interacts with Necrotic Grips as well. Because if you didn't know, in Season 18, glaives were given the ability to interact with certain exotics, whereas they couldn't before. So that's exotics like Karnstein armlets and Necrotic Grips, for example. I did already make a build before Season 18, talking about the idea and showing you a build, basically theory crafting Karnstein armlets with a glaive. So if you want to check that out, you can. The build works perfectly fine, and it's actually really good with Karnsteins. But in this video, I'm going to be doing that again, but actually putting it to the test as well, and showing you what it's like with Necrotic Grip. So, getting into the subclass. This part is pretty straightforward, which is why I'm just going to go through this first. None of this up here matters. You can use whatever you like. I do recommend having Feed the Void for Devour, because Devour restores your health after every kill, which is extremely strong, so I do recommend that. Then I have Child of the Old Gods in here for weakening, and to get ability energy back, because I like having lots of abilities on Void, and of course we're using Necrotic, so I can't use stuff like Eye of Another World and Resurrect Sin. So we've got to rely on other ways of getting our abilities back fast. As for the fragments, we have Weakening Nades, which is just super strong, so, you know, this is just kind of a no-brainer fragment to use. Then I've got Volatile Rounds on grenade kills. I am using a Void Glaive in this video, so this will work with that Glaive, which is really nice. Then I have Grenades Last Longer, so, you know, this is optional. You could have whatever you want in here instead. And then I also have Void ability kills cause targets to explode. This is also optional, and you can have whatever you want in here as well. So that's the subclass, very straightforward. The weapons we are going to be using with Necrotic Grip is the Osteo Striga, because this does get buffed by Necrotic Grip, so every kill will spew poison, and then after you get a kill with that poison, it'll spew more poison. That's its interaction with Necrotic Grip. But you could use Touch of Malice, and you could use Thorn. It is up to you. I just think Osteo is a bit more new player friendly, and it's just an all-round great weapon for ad clear. Now, the glaive I'm using is just a random Enigma. I don't really use this thing, I'm not going to lie. The only glaive I use is the Solar Adept Lubre's Ruin. But, you know, I'm showing off the Enigma in this video because everyone can get an Enigma, right? Everyone can just go craft it for free if they own Witch Queen. And of course it is Void, so it is going to interact a lot easier with Void, and I think Void is probably the best subclass to use Necrotic Grip with a glaive on, because of Devour, and you're going to be up close and personal with a lot of enemies, so Devour is a very valuable thing to have. So that's why I'm showing off this glaive. Of course, I don't have this decked out with a good roll, whatever, but a lot of people do. I don't really know what rolls you could use either. Play around with it, use what you like. The roll on the glaive doesn't actually matter at all, because all you're going to be doing is meleeing enemies anyway. So in that case, you could use something like Grave Robber, but aside from that, nothing else matters, because you're just going to be meleeing enemies and proccing Necrotic Grip. So, yeah. Now, for the actual mods that we're going to be using, this is where it gets a bit crazy, because I haven't used this mod setup in a very long time. I did make a Necrotic Grip video like 3 or 4 seasons ago, where I showed off this mod setup. So this is it again. We're going to be starting off with Stacks on Stacks. This basically gives you an extra charge for every charge that you gain, and that is Charge of Light. And to actually get our charges, we're going to be using Charge Harvester, which is any kills or assist have a chance to make you charge with light. So that includes the poison, that includes the glaive melee, that includes grenades, our regular melee, any of our other guns, any explosions we make, anything. Our super, anything. Literally anything in the build can make us charged. And the main reason why I like to use this with a poison build is because you're going to be poisoning a ton of enemies. They're going to be chaining and killing a ton of enemies. So, you know, using things like wells and such don't really work too well with poison, because poison can't make wells. And of course, when you're poisoning things, they don't tend to make too many orbs. So I don't know, I just like using Charge Harvester because it's a very fun way to get charged. You will normally get charged only ×1 with this, but because we have Stacks on Stacks, we get charged ×2. And then with those charges, we're going to be using high energy fire, which does buff the poison if it comes from a weapon. And it will also buff our weapons anyway, which is just nice to have. Of course, you're going to be pretty much on an endless loop of high energy fire, because Charge Harvest is going crazy with the poison. So that's really awesome. And then I have Supercharged, just in case I somehow get Charge Harvester to proc quick enough to get over 2 stacks. It's very rare that this happens, so I don't necessarily recommend Supercharged, but considering I'm using Radiant Light for stats, I don't really have anything else to put in there that I would want to use my charges on, other than High Energy Fire. So I've just got Supercharged in there just in case, and that's pretty much how that's going to go. Now for stats, Mobility is completely useless on this setup. Resilience, obviously you want that for the 40% DR. Recov has been severely tanked in this build because I have to minus 20 dis as well, so I need more dis mods, and I've also got minus 20 Recov from this. So, you know, Recov gets severely tanked, so we don't get rifts too often, even though I do have Child of the Old Gods. But Devour will give us our health back anyway, so we don't have to worry about Recov for health, so that's at least a good side to that. Then I have Discipline, of course, because I want to spam my nades for weakening nades and volatile rounds. Super doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. You're going to be holding onto this anyway. It's Nova Bomb, so whatever. And then I've got Strength for just an easy ranged, powerful volatile melee, basically, to proc poison with. Of course, this isn't really necessary. You could dump this into Recov if you want to get rifts back faster. But I've just put it into Strength because I really like the melee, so yeah. And that is pretty much the build. Very straightforward. Pretty much what we're going to be doing is poisoning everything with the melee on the Glaive and the Osteo, and also our regular melee with Necrotic Grip. Those poisons will kill enemies, they will chain to other enemies and they will kill them. Charge Harvester will kick in eventually and we'll get charge times 2. And then our weapons, for 2 or more charges, will do 20% more damage. And that will just keep going on and on and on and on and on until there aren't any more enemies to kill. So that's really cool. And of course, because we have Devour, we're unkillable. We are invincible during that period of time. We also have weakening nades and weakening rifts to just like power through the enemies. We've got volatile rounds. It's great. It's a very, very fun build. It will work in endgame. Although, of course, there aren't really any Glaive or SMG champion mods. But when those do come around, this will work extremely well. So, yeah, that's really awesome. So, hopefully you enjoy this build. I'll show gameplay now, just me ad clearing with it. Since that's all there really is to show. It'll probably just be in Golgroth again, because that's a really nice little spot to just ad clear and show it off. So, hopefully you enjoy the gameplay. Hopefully you enjoy the build. Let me know what you think. And adios.